Okay, can everybody hear me? YouTube sucks. Sorry, I just had to get that out. I'm waiting for Teresa. I had set up the live and can you hear me? Can everybody hear me? Okay. I set up the live and it wouldn't let me add Teresa. So she should be here momentarily. Do I have to put her in? Yeah, okay. Oh my God, are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I was waiting for you to add me. I'm like, okay.
Look, man, I don't really know what I'm doing over here. Sorry. I do have a Red Bull though, so it might get better marginally. Woo! How's everybody doing?
Look at the people. Hello, everybody.
I had to start it out by saying that YouTube sucks because I tried to use, they're supposed to have this feature now, and I tried to use it and it wouldn't let me add you.
Yeah.
And it's probably that I don't know what I'm doing, but you know, I can't be admitting that. Hi, Sam. Hi, Dottie's Daisies. Hi, Mystical Creative Reborns. Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Hanging in there. So, yeah. How should I start this?
I know. We've already been talking about it, so all fired up.
We've been talking shit for like an hour. No, I'm just kidding. Not about people, about, you know, YouTube and how this community, like all the fun has been sucked out of it.
Yes.
And it's not, this is not, I am not here to have a go at anybody. I'm not. And I don't want to, any names in the chat or any kind of, I don't want any of that. Because that's not what this is about. This is about my experience and why I'm not here a lot and why I probably won't be here a lot. Just to get it out of the way, I'm not getting out of Reborns. I love them. I love my dolls. I have almost 100 of them. So yeah, I'm invested literally and figuratively in this hobby. And I don't see that changing. But for various reasons, this community, we'll talk about the community like it's a, you know, a dragon or some kind of mystical creature. It's a whole thing by itself. It's its own entity. It's sucked all the fun out of it for me.
Yeah. Same here.
And I think I've been waiting for it to get better, and it seems like it just gets worse. And again, I'm going to talk about some stuff, and probably some people are going to raise their eyebrows and think that she's talking about me. I'm really talking about myself and how this looks from the perspective of someone who's been here a long time. And there's people in this community that don't care for me. There's people that I don't like. There's a mutual dislike in some cases, and that's fine. That's not what this is about, because I can see the perspectives of those people as well. In some cases, it's just, this is, I was telling Teresa, if YouTube was a building, it was a place that we all had to go to, like get in your car, bring your doll, you're going down to YouTube, right? No one would go. Would you guys go?
I would not go down. No.
What's you doing over there?
What?
I said, what are you doing over there?
Sorry, I'm setting my mic up or my phone up. Sorry.
So I'm going to talk about some issues, and I want whoever's listening to understand that I'm talking about this. Pretend for a second, if you don't like me, maybe set that aside for a second and think about this from, if I was a person just coming in, how I would see some of this stuff. Because what it's become is, and I have a story to share with you guys that happened to me recently, which is part of the reason I didn't go live last time, because I spent all day on the phone with PayPal and big old issue. So I'll talk about that. But imagine for a second that you're new and you're coming in and seeing all of this. So the way the community is now, you have to worry about posting photos of your dolls, something that we used to share before very effortlessly. You can't post photos of your dolls without the understanding that someone might take them, even if your face is in them. Someone might take them and pretend to be you, pretend to have your doll, and try to sell it and scam someone. And in some cases, excuse me, this hasn't happened to me, but I have seen it happen to other people where they've been blamed for that. You sold me a doll. Well, no, I didn't. Someone took my picture and sold you a doll. Hi, Joy. So you can't do that without worrying about that. You can't even share photos of your dolls. You can't post dolls for sale because people will try to scam you, which is what recently happened to me. And like I said, I'll go into that. You can't buy things without worrying if someone else is going to be upset that you bought them. And before you guys think that I'm talking about just one or two specific people, I'm talking in general, because it's happened to me over the years in various different situations. You have to worry about someone potentially taking your username in an effort to agitate you, which I'm going to tell you, I've been here a long time. If someone else tried to be Hey There Spooky Face, or tried to just to kind of get my goat, it would get my goat. I would be pissed.
Mm-hmm.
I would be lit. I'm Hey There Spooky Face, right? And I've gone so far. I'm so serious about that, guys, that I've told other people to do this too, who are prominent in the community. And like I said, I'm not going to mention any names, but friends that I have that have been here a long time, and their names are very well recognized. When I've gone to other platforms, like there's one called Library, or I think it's called Odyssey now, where it'll take your YouTube videos that you upload and automatically put them there as well, so you have an archive. I've told friends, you better go over there and get your username because someone will take it.
What?
That kind of stuff. And I'm not throwing shade again, but if someone did that to me, I'd be mad. And I understand why someone might be mad. So there's that. You can't comment on anyone's stuff, because if that person has done something that someone else doesn't like, and it could be anything, now you're also guilty of that, even if you don't know about it or don't support it or aren't commenting on the videos that talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden you're guilty by association. But it doesn't work the same way. You know, if you're just trying to do something good, like Teresa had a situation where she inadvertently shouted out someone, and some folks didn't like that and accused her of supporting counterfeits, which is not a discussion that I want to get into, really. But the point is, you can't even comment, because if you barely know the person, you have to have vetted out their whole shit before you comment on their channel.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have looked at everything, and nobody's got time for that when you're trying to just do a good thing and be fun and shout someone out. On the flip side, and I love the way Teresa put this when we were talking earlier, she said, you can no longer just be neutral. And that's also the case, because if you don't comment, and this has happened to me personally, even if I'm not commenting on some of the stuff that might be going on over here to my right, wherever that is, right? If you're not commenting, but that people know that you're friends with that person, or in the past you've been friends with that person, now all of a sudden you're doing everything that person does. It's too much. It's too much to ask of, hi. It's too much to ask of people. This is a hobby. This is supposed to be fun. And like I was telling Teresa earlier, I do not want to police other people. And I know the word dolly police has been used in a derogatory fashion. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that in a derogatory way. I think if you're passionate about something and you want to be exceedingly aware of everything that's going on and who you're following and all of that, that's your decision.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do that. I don't have the energy to do that. Like, I physically don't have it, I mentally don't have it. I don't want to be expected to keep track of every single thing that everybody does all the time,
Mm-hmm.
because I might miss some shit. I'm sorry. I'm not on YouTube all the time. I collect other dolls, which is something I'll get into a little bit later, but I don't have that. So you might see me comment on someone's channel and they might have done something you don't care for. They might have done something I don't know about. I can't be expected to. Yeah, my life isn't YouTube. Dottie just said I can't be
Right.
expected to do that, and I don't think any of us should be expected to do that. So here's all this stuff that you can't do without stress, and it just erodes and erodes and erodes the joy that you have for the hobby. And I'm not out of ideas. I've got lots of videos I'd like to make, but when I think about all these things, then I'm like, yeah, I don't want to go to that party. I don't want to take my dolls, which I love. I love my dolls. They're expensive. Maybe not as expensive as some other people's dolls, but I consider dropping 1K on a doll to be expensive. I don't want to bring that doll to a food fight or a dumpster fire. Just no.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that, especially knowing doing role play videos, doing the things that everybody does, setting all this up. This all takes time, energy, mentally, physically. If you have chronic pain like I do, you
Mm-hmm.
know it's going to hurt. It's going to literally hurt you to make a video. I'm not trying to hurt myself so that my 12 haters and 2 subscribers, cuz YouTube don't know how to send shit out to people who've said they want to see my content, are going to watch it. No thanks.
Right.
And it's not, like I said, this isn't shade at any one person. And some of it's YouTube. Some of it's the YouTube algorithm sucks. And it has sucked for a long time. I see big channels that should have, that I know are not buying subscribers. They should have way more views and they don't. Yeah, a high school cafeteria lunch table. I don't want any of that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I want to come here and have fun. And it's not fun anymore. And sure, a little bit of drama. It's a little spicy, right? It's funny for a minute. But after a while, it's draining. And the funny thing is, I didn't even realize that till I got into collecting. I used to collect Monster High, which is like Monster Barbies, if you don't know what Monster High is. I never really had Barbies as a kid. I had a couple of them and they sat on the shelf. Man, if they'd had Monster High, I would have been all over that as a kid because I was always a spooky bitch, right? I love that. I would have been all about that. And I would have probably still had them, Monster High from 1986 or whatever if they were out. Because I love that.
Right.
And I take good care of my shit, so it'd be in good condition. But I would have loved that. And so I'm into collecting that stuff now. And it's a whole different vibe over there. And I think some of it has to do with the fact that they're factory made. So you don't have artists and sculptors getting involved. And there's a lot of feelings in that. And again, this is not shade. There's a lot of feelings in making art. And it took me a minute to like get that. So I made some of my own mistakes, but there's a lot of feelings involved in creating art, whether you're just painting it or you're sculpting it or you're doing both or whatever. And the absence of that in these other spaces means there's a lot less drama. There just is, because there's a lot less people having feels about it. Yeah, Sam, it's funny till it's not. Exactly.
Yes. Yes.
I forgot how to put these up on the screen because I'm Such a nerd. It takes a lot out of a person to be active on YouTube. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of, like Shell saying she has chronic pain. I understand that. Like it takes a lot, and I don't feel like I want to do that in this space that's this version of the community. And I'm not blaming any one person either. It's because, like I said, there's people I don't care for. They don't care for me, but I can see their perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I understand it. And in terms of the copying, which I don't want to get too deep into, but I know for a fact because it's been done to me years ago, and I'm talking it's got to be 2020 fucked me up as far as time. So this might not be exactly right because 2020 was 5 years long. You know what I'm saying? But like, I want to say it was 5 or 6 years ago. It was some time ago, and it actually happened on Instagram, not YouTube. But there was someone who was taking everything that I bought, everything that was me, and trying to copy that and actively buying it. I had people messaging me and saying, what's going on? Is this person, do you see they just bought it was insane, and it went on for months. And people were noticing, and I was like, yeah, I know. I see it. And this person made it very clear they didn't like me, made it very clear they were doing it because they didn't like me. So yes, that does happen, and it sucks, and it was not fun. So if there's folks out there that's happening, I hear you. Even if I don't like you, I hear you, and it sucks. And it is something that people do here, and I don't like it. It's not right. I'm kind of hard to copy because I'm kind of weird. I don't like all the things that normal people like. Like I said, I'm a spooky bitch. So if you're gonna spend money on copying me, it's gonna be expensive, and
Yes.
your house gonna look weird. It's gonna look like a horror movie, like mine does. Teresa's been here; she knows.
It's fantastic. It's like a museum. Like it takes you like a good hour. Like you're just speechless. There's so much.
Aw. Hi, Lacey. How are you? But I've had that happen, and it does feel kind of stalkerish. Um, it doesn't feel good. And whether someone admits they're doing it or not, if you know that they are, or whether they've said that they are, yeah, it doesn't feel good. And so I understand that.
Yeah.
Um, I understand at the same time why people get frustrated with each other and will do little stupid things to, because I'm not innocent of it. I've done it. Not to the degree that I've seen some folks do it, but I've done it. You know what's going to get someone's goat, especially if you've been close to them. You know where the red buttons are, right? And there's been a lot of friendships in this community that have gone sour, and unfortunately that's what sometimes happens. So I understand the different perspectives that I see, and I'm not one of those people that if I don't like you, I disagree with everything you say. I'm just not. It is what it is with me. But I think that there is concern because, like I said, it's not just one or two folks. There is concern that if you buy something, like I'm going to give you an example. There's been all this uproar with the Jellycat stuff, and everybody's been buying Jellycat, and Jellycat's always been cute. It's always been a thing. I've had, I think, I want to say a unicorn from a long time ago, and so I've had some Jellycats over the years. They got some cute shit. I was on their website the other day because I'd seen a dragon on a friend of mine's Instagram, and I was like, "Where did you get that? I gotta have that." She's like, "Oh, it's Jellycat." So I went over there and I saw some of the Christmas stuff and I bought some, and everybody kind of had similar Christmas stuff because it's cute, right? That's why everybody's got it, because it's cute. And I'm losing my train of thought. Um, I went over there and I was looking at all that stuff, and I was actually on the phone with Teresa. And what popped up, we were looking at the site together, and what popped up was a cloud. It was a cloud with little feet.
And I
And
was like,
she was like, "Oh my god." This was before Christmas. I had bought my Christmas stuff, the Christmas themed stuff that I wanted, and we were just, bullshitting on the phone looking at it, and she's like, "It's a cloud." And so I bought that for her before Christmas because she's cloud 9. And I thought that was so cute, right? And nobody's given me shit, just to be clear. Nobody's given me shit about it. But when I started to see that pop up other places, and they may have had it before, I don't know. And I'm not giving anyone else shit. I'm just saying, you get that feeling, that knee jerk feeling of, oh God,
yeah.
because it's here at the house, but I haven't sent it to her yet because I was waiting for something else that I bought her, which didn't come till after Christmas. So I got to get that sent out. But I almost wanted to be like, do you want the receipt in case you get some shit from people? And I shouldn't have to think that.
No, it's sad.
It's sad. But like I said, there have been cases where people have done this as a revenge tactic. And I think that's why people are kind of, they get their hackles up about it. So I understand both sides. But again, I couldn't even buy this cute thing for Teresa because it was so her, right? Without having that in the back of my mind, like, oh, somebody's going to think I'm doing this to be an asshole, or somebody's going to be upset that then you think, I'm giving this as a gift. Am I giving drama as a gift? It just sucks. It sucks. And I understand it. Like I said, I understand it from all perspectives, but what it does, and again, this is not about any one person or group of people or any of that, because I haven't experienced that in many years, but what it does is it puts that stress on you, and it adds so much stress to something that should just be fun. And that happens a lot over a lot of things that we do here. And it makes me not want to do them anymore.
Yeah.
I just don't. I mean, how do you feel about all that stuff?
Me?
All that shit I just talked. How do you feel about that?
No, I agree. I really been, I mean, if you follow me, I haven't really been making a lot of videos. And really that's why. Everything you just said. You got to watch everything you do. You can't, it's just not fun anymore.
It's stressful. Because
Yeah.
honestly,
The whole point was supposed to be a relaxing and fun thing for me.
right.
Where I'm like, oh, I got to make another video.
High love of dolls. Um, it just adds this layer of stress, and I don't buy things to piss people off. I really don't. And I've said this in a comment, which I hope was taken in the spirit that I said it, which was not to be shady, but just to say I have such a different vibe with all the monster stuff and actually really horror stuff. Like I have an Annabelle, full-size Annabelle sitting in my house, and I've had people, and it's in the cabinet and everything. It looks just like the movie. And people have come over and walked halfway through my living room and literally turned around to walk back out because it freaks them out so much. Like,
Oh, awesome.
I have a lot of horror stuff in my house. That's my aesthetic. I'm a horror fan. I've always been a horror fan. So I might buy something cutesy that everyone else who has human traditional style reborns has, but I'm not going to be buying a bunch of that because my collection is heavy on the monsters. My aesthetic is heavy with the creepy stuff. So yeah, there's going to be a little bit of crossover, but I think it's clear, especially now that I'm doing the Monster High, the Rainbow High, the Shadow High, I'm doing my own thing. And Lacey says, I'd love your house. Yeah, you would. You would.
Thank you.
I like the creepy stuff. It comforts me. I guess I'm messed up. I don't know. I don't know what a psychologist would say about that, but
Thank you to the people that were commenting on her. Yeah. Her house is amazing, Lacey.
I think what's happening, and again, I don't want to get too deep into any conflicts that are happening because I like I said, oftentimes see both sides, but Dottie says, when it comes to copying, I don't worry about it. I buy stuff I like. If you don't want people to buy the same things, then don't share them. And I understand that perspective. I also understand, like I said, having been a victim of it in the distant past. You guys probably wouldn't even know who this person was, and I'm not going to say their name because there's no reason to do that. But it's no one that you probably know from YouTube or any of that, because like I said, it happened on Instagram. But I know what it's like when you're just sharing your stuff and all of a sudden someone's buying stuff that maybe is not so easy to find, and you're like, well, how does this keep happening? How many times could this be a coincidence? And like I said, in that instance, I knew that that person was doing it to get my goat, and I kind of just had to sit there and take it. And it sucked because, like I said, I had people messaging me and they're like, what's going on over here? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm sorry, but thanks for the support. It's hard. It's hard because we're here to share stuff.
Yeah. Well, and just like when you send me the cloud and stuff, then I'm not going to want to share it because I don't know what, you know what I mean? Like, here I got this lovely gift. Here's the receipt.
Right. It takes the fun out of it. And I don't think the people that I've seen, because I've seen it on many different, it must have come out recently or something, because I've seen it now on many different, like, Instagrams and many different places. And maybe I just am seeing it because I've seen it and bought one for you. So now I'm seeing it. I don't know. But I don't think that any of those people are going to come after you or come after me for buying that. But it's a concern.
Yeah.
And it's a concern. I'll just be honest with you guys, okay? It's a concern because one of these people I had a falling out with, and I don't want that person thinking that that's what I'm doing. So it's not a concern for the reason you might think. It's not a concern because of any group of folks that, whatever. It's not a concern because of any of the stuff that's been going on. It's my own concern because I've had my own falling out with one of these people, and I don't want them thinking I'm doing that. So just to be real with y'all, that's where that comes from. And so nobody's done anything, but I'm already stressed. I was just trying to do a nice thing because it was so perfect for Teresa.
I appreciate it.
And I don't want to have conflict, even if I don't care for you. And there's some people that they don't like me. They're never going to like me. Maybe we were friends at some point, but we're not now. And that's okay. But I don't want to have active conflict. And Teresa can vouch for me. I've said this before. I am not a grudge holding person. I get real mad. And Sam will tell you that too. I get real mad when I'm mad, but I get over it quick. It's like that dude, Hades, the cartoon where his head catches on fire and then he's like, I'm okay. So that's me. Because I'd be real mad for a hot second. And then I'm like, fuck it, I don't care. Because I don't want to hang on to that. I don't. I think that no matter what's happened, people fuck up. I fuck up. We're humans. I don't want to take that forward. I don't.
Yeah.
That's just not me. And Teresa knows because she's kind of the opposite a little bit. If you fuck her over, she's mad for a long time.
I am a grudge holder.
And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that either. I think sometimes that protects you from, getting hurt. It does.
Yeah.
We just have a different vibe, but I'm not that way. Yes, she does. Sam knows because sometimes I'm mad at her. It's funny. I like fiery people, though. I do. That's where I get myself into trouble because I like fiery folks like me. Sometimes fire and fire don't mix.
You get overstepped quick. Yeah, I don't. I'll admit it.
Yeah, Sam says you were bummed when you saw you had bought the same thing. I was, because I thought, I think I thought the cloud was safe from that just because it was such kind of obscure thing and not something you maybe think of immediately. You think of like a teddy bear or a bunny or, you know what I mean? But Jellycat has so much cool off the wall stuff, like all of their food stuff, their mushrooms. Oh my God, I love their mushrooms. The fun guys, get it? Fun guy. They're so cute. But they have all kinds of stuff. And I just thought, well, surely the cloud, surely to God, the cloud will be safe. But it's cute. I mean, again, it's cute. I understand why people have it, and nobody's giving me shit about it because nobody knew till right now. Nobody knows I bought that for Teresa. But there's just that level of like, I don't want people to insert bad intentions where there weren't any or whatever.
And that's what's sad is that that's even a thought.
Yeah, but I understand it. At the same time, I'm like, it sucks. I do understand it. I understand why people have the feelings they do on both sides, excuse me, of this issue. There's a lot of feels. It's a lot of women. There's a lot of feels in this community. It's a lot. It's
Hmm.
hard to navigate. And like you said, you can't be neutral because not commenting now doesn't even mean anything. They're holding you responsible for what happened, and you're like, I wasn't even at that party.
Right.
But you're guilty by association, and it sucks. I tend to err on the side these days of not running my mouth. I really try not to. And if I feel like I have to say something, I have a different way of saying it than maybe I used to. And that's not to say that people shouldn't say their piece if they feel like they need to say it. I think you were just talking about, Teresa, you're much more that way.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I might be a person, and Sam knows this too. I'm a talk you down type of person. And so when my friends do things, it's their prerogative to do those things. If I'm in support of that, I'll be over there saying yes, yes, yes to this. Hell yes. If I'm not, then there's a reason I'm not. You need to notice my absence as much as you notice my presence, I guess is what I'm saying. Because I cannot control another person, just like another person cannot control me. One of
And
the biggest things that I have learned, and that I think I maybe was kind of a dick about 5 or 6 years ago, maybe it wasn't that long ago, is that people have their own journey here. And I haven't respected that in some ways. And that's a huge lesson for me. And I respect it now. But it's almost like people won't let you respect it because well, why did your friend say this? Well, ask my friend.
yeah.
I didn't say it. I will say it. If I need to say something, I will say it. I don't need no one else to say it for me. I can say it just fine by myself. I'm a big girl. If I didn't say it, then I didn't say it. Don't ride my ass about it. Sam says, I think we all make too many assumptions about people. I'm guilty of that. Me too. And we're probably all wrong about a lot of the stuff we get in our minds. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no like taking a minute to give another person some slack. Or they take things you say out of context. Yeah. I think that, like I said, there's a lot of friendships. There's friendships that fall apart. There's situations that go badly. And then you kind of, and I'm guilty of this too, you get in this mindset of, well, that person is doing it because fuck me. No, maybe they're not. you know? Maybe they're not. I mean, and sometimes I have done that. Sometimes I've been rude. Sometimes I've been, you know, I've thrown my share of shade, certainly. But like I said, I tend to get over things pretty fast, and
She said to talk me down a couple times.
I have. But if you'd gone on and said whatever you wanted to say in that moment, that's you. That's your choice. And that's something I had to learn is that, and part of what makes it difficult is you do get blamed for everything everybody does. Even like in your case, when people aren't even your friends, you don't even know them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you've supported someone who's doing something, you know, controversial or whatever. Well, I didn't know they were doing that. I don't know them.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure. It's
Yeah.
a lot of pressure. Like Dottie said, I try to be the rainbows and sunshine friend.
Right.
And then you can't. In this community, you can't, because you're held responsible for everything everyone else does.
Right.
And sometimes held responsible for things you're not even doing. Because there are a lot of assumptions made. Maybe someone is doing something to be a dickhead, or maybe they're not. I think that's something I have to remind myself of all the time is perhaps not.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not. But I can't, I've been the victim of stuff like that, so I can't really say. I just know that all of this stuff, it sucks the fun out of it. I love that bottle. Does
Somebody,
that say potato?
yeah, someone was asking me.
It's so cute.
I got this from Nana.
I love it.
Anyway, sorry, someone was asking me, so I was just showing it.
I feel like I talk too much. What, you got anything to say over there?
I mean, I'm chiming in. No, you're saying, you're saying how you feel about that.
I'm speaking my truth.
That's right. I'm gonna take a smoke break. No, I agree with you.
Go ahead.
It just sucks that it's just not the way it used to be, and it's not getting better, it's getting worse. And it makes you not want to try to come up with something fun to do or something new to do, because then someone's going to come around and poo poo all over it.
Sam says, many times she's attempted to talk me down in the past, and I obviously suck at heeding her warnings. I tend to need to learn the hard lessons due to my stubbornness. Yeah, and I do too. I mean, like, I be telling her for the first, I guess, year or so that I knew Sam, I was a whole lot of talking her down, and she was a lot of whole not wanting to hear it. And it's funny because I also don't want to hear it. Like, when I'm ready, when I feel like I need to say something or I need to do something, I have to damn near sit on my hands sometimes. And someone telling me, I don't think that's a good idea, I don't want to hear that. So I'm just as stubborn sometimes. I think I have the benefit of more time here to learn that oftentimes it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you say, because people have made up their mind, and this is another problem and something I really try not to do. People have made up their mind who you are because of whatever experience they've had with you, and people have a really hard time letting go of that. You're not allowed to grow. And this extends way beyond the reborn community. This is a problem with the internet in general that I didn't have as a child. People my age didn't have this as a child. We fucked up royally. There's no photos of that. There's no video to haunt us later when we want to run for some political office or whatever. We just fucked up all the time, and we learned from it, and we moved on. Now you can't do nothing because everything is recorded. And I feel bad for some of these, and I can't think of names off the top of my head, but some of these influencers who have messed up 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, why did you say this 10 years ago? Well, I don't fucking know, because I'm not the person I was 10 years ago. Humans are supposed to grow and change. And this record, this dossier that everyone has on each other now, it doesn't allow you to do that. And it's sad. I was a hellion as a child and teenager. I can't imagine what would be out there about me. And
Yeah.
it's the same here. Like, if you've been here a while, understand that people grow, understand that people learn things. They're not maybe the same person that you encountered. Who knows what they were going through at that time?
But like
and
you
I
said,
fucked up and made my own mistakes, and I'm not.
You can't be neutral.
Hmm?
You can't be neutral now. You can't just
No,
be like, we're good. It's all good.
It's awfully hard to try to be neutral, because people are always trying to pull you in. They want you to take a side, and they get very upset when you don't.
So you're damned if you do and damned if you don't.
Sam says it doesn't matter, because whenever you fool yourself into thinking you've got the upper hand, you soon learn how fleeting that power trip is. It's only good for a moment. Yeah, it's like you think it's going to feel real good to get a dig at somebody, and then it really doesn't.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. I mean, Mystical Creative Reborn says, it's sad we can't stick together in the community, especially since other non doll people pick on us enough and don't get us. Yeah.
Yep. It is
I
sad.
think that there's always going to be, and there is in every internet community, because this is not the first one I've been in. I used to collect music. I was part of animal rescue, and boy, that's a whole different nasty ball game. You wouldn't think it, just like dolls. You think that'd be a real peaceful, nice place, right? But it's just the fact that humans, we're all very different. We come from different backgrounds. We have different opinions. We see things differently, and we have different issues. We have different trauma. We have different damage, different dents in our cars, and so we do see things differently. And we probably don't know some of that stuff about each other because maybe we would be nicer if we did. Maybe we would be nicer if we saw the damage. I think I've learned some very painful, very valuable lessons in this community, and I think one of them is, and it's hard, but I don't want to judge people because I don't want people judging me. Because I don't know. I don't know what people are going through. People don't know what I'm going through. I don't put everything out there. My close friends know, but sometimes there's some heavy shit. And sometimes you're watching a friend go through some heavy shit and you want to say, get off their dick. Okay? You don't know what's going on, but you can't. You just have to sit there and watch it.
That's hard.
It is. My beer's almost gone. I mean, my Red Bull.
Nope. Up.
It really is Red Bull. I can't drink. Because I take too many drugs, prescription drugs.
Jeez.
That's a sound bite for you.
Right.
I think, unfortunately, the way YouTube works now, because their algorithm sucks, it is the people who intentionally seek out your content are either your good friends who probably already know what video you were going to make because you were talking to them about it or whatever, or they already know you're getting this doll 6 months ago. So, you know, and it's not that that's not appreciated when your friends comment. It is. It's just you're not really sharing that news with them because they already know it. So you've got those friends who are lovely and awesome and loyal, and then you've got, like I said, 12 haters
Yeah.
who are checking in because they want to know what shit did she say today? What did she buy today?
Yeah.
Adding up the months you've had a doll that you said was a forever baby, and now you selling it. Look at that shit. You know, it's
Oh no.
you know, like it's almost like you can hear it as you're doing your video, your photos, you can hear what people are going to say. Sam says sometimes we have some very vulnerable moments and people will exploit that even though they probably know better. This stuff can distort our better judgment. Yeah. And I've seen some of that recently.
Mm-hmm.
It's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
And I'm not a saint, you know. I'm not trying to represent myself that way at all. I'm just saying every day I'm trying to do better. I want to do better. I want to understand. I was watching this thing that a friend of mine sent me. It was a podcast, and one of the things that really stuck out to me was he said, I always want to ask questions, especially of people that have a drastically different view than I do. And he said, I want to say, you know, to me, I see this so clearly this way. And I want to understand how you can see it so differently. And it's like that 6 versus 9 meme where they're both looking at it from different angles, and so it looks like the opposite number.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, once I have their perspective, I'm now holding two truths, and maybe it will allow me or cause me to augment my perspective, or it might allow me to share a little more of why I feel the way that I do so this person understands me and now we understand each other better. It was just really beautiful.
Wow.
So you may not walk away agreeing, but you can see the little counter dropping down as I'm not being nasty. It's like 22, 2016. Just look at it. I always tell people, I'm like, this community is its own reality show. You don't have to make nothing up. Just turn on the camera.
Right.
Just let us go. We will give you some content.
That's right.
Just keep it going. Keep it rolling.
Stick around. Stick around.
Anyway, because of all that stuff, and again, it's no one person's fault. I'm not pissed at anybody. I'm not here to hate on anybody. Bye, Lacey. Have a good night. It's a whole entity on its own. It's all of it together. And even though I can understand why some people are frustrated in each direction, it's a lot. It's very heavy. And as I've been watching the Rainbow High, the Shadow High, the Monster High videos, and everybody's talking about new stuff coming out, and it doesn't have any of that heaviness.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't know if it's because it's factory made dolls, and so that eliminates a lot of the conversations that we get into here. But it's just very different. And I didn't even realize how this community was giving me a stomach ache until I didn't have one. You know?
I have to agree.
I mean, you were saying that you don't feel you've recorded videos, you said, and decided just nah.
Yeah. The last several weeks I've recorded several videos and I've edited them and I was gonna upload it and I was just like, nah, I'm good. And I just so it's like that time I wasted, and I wasn't inspired to share it anymore because, who cares, right?
Yeah. You don't want to do that and hurt your back and for your 12 haters? Can't imagine.
No idea why.
I know everybody feels that. That's not shade. I know everybody feels that.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
part of being on YouTube, unfortunately, to a degree. It is.
yeah. Yeah. I do see, I see a difference between, you know, the other doll community part and us. There's definitely a difference in the videos.
I haven't, and again, I'm fairly new to watching these channels. I think the other big difference is that a lot of I've really dug into that community of fashion dolls, I guess it's called. And it seems like most of the people who make videos are actually people who get PR from Mattel, from MGA, from these companies, and they open it on stream and they talk about new stuff that's coming out. And so it doesn't seem like a whole lot of just collectors that are making videos of their personal collection. I do a bit of that, but it's on my other channel, but it's mainly for me to chronicle my own journey in collecting these dolls. It's not really to be an influencer, you know what I mean? But it seems like a lot of the people that make videos are influencers, but I don't ever hear them crapping on each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't hear them, and they go to events together and they shout each other out in their videos, and I haven't heard a single person say, well, so and so this. I'm not hearing that over there.
Well, like that video that you have up on your Wow. That was the best. I love how he said things in that video.
He's fantastic. Darling
He's
Dolls.
really, if you guys really need to go check that video out. I think
And
it's
one of the things with him and all of them is they're very careful how they speak in
mhm.
general. They're very careful not to, they're not snarky, I guess. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
That kid is hilarious. I love him.
Yeah, you guys really should. He just worded it so good, and even just the first sentence, just he was great.
He's talking about different dolls obviously than reborns, but he said I just think they're neat, and he was talking about how, and we get this a lot in our community where we're looked at as somehow mentally not right. We must have some trauma. We must have some horrible thing that we're trying to get past. It can't just be fun, was the
Mhm.
one point he was trying to make. And the other point he was trying to make is I don't need to justify to you why I have dolls.
Mhm.
I love them. I don't have to have a reason.
Yeah.
If I have one and I want to share it, great. But I don't have to have one.
I was a cheerleader when I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
hell yeah, dude, speak the truth.
I love that kid.
100. Yeah, it was a great video.
And I don't it sucks because things here are so complicated between all the different people and all the stuff that's going on. It's complicated. Some of it is heavy stuff. I saw another channel, and I'm not going to say who they are here, but they're outside of our community and were basically making fun of us and saying, "Oh, look, they put a doll in the frame and then they just talk about whatever they want and they're screaming at each other and all of this over dolls." And it's like, well, you don't really understand what's going on because you're not part of our community. You don't understand that this discussion does have to do with dolls, you
Mhm.
know. But we there's a lot of feelings behind all of that. So I get it. And I don't know how to simplify it. I don't know how to make it better. I think it would be helpful if people could let go of some of their, in some cases it seems like outright hatred of each other.
Yeah, yeah,
But it's layered, it's complicated. There's a lot of history here between folks. There's a lot of people feel very passionate about what they feel is right and wrong, and that's not a bad thing.
it's true.
So I don't know how to fix it. I just know that it sucks. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
You're welcome.
Like, I don't know. It's just not fun. It's not fun for lots of reasons. And
Yeah, it's not fun anymore.
so, to answer the question in my title, do I still love this hobby? Am I leaving? I don't think leaving is the right word. Oh, there she is. Giant one.
Look at her now. She won't look like this in a little bit.
Sappho's Muse, do you want me to say who you are or no? You want to fly under the radar? Let me know. She says that's why I don't like to be in the YouTube community anymore. Yeah, a lot of people. A lot of people are feeling that. I'm feeling that. But I don't what I guess I'm trying to get at is it's not this person's fault or these people's fault, or you know what I mean? It's a lot of things. It's a lot of things that have been building for a long time. So that's M's, my best friend, Sappho's Muse. That's her other account. Glad you could join us. We're not talking enough shit, so the number's going down. That's just
Oh,
how it is, man.
oh man. She wants to join us.
She's so cool looking. I need to open mine. I have all of, just so you guys know what a psycho I am. Rude. She said you could have picked me up. I have all of these Rainbow Shadow High in and out of the box. Not all of them, but most of them. Because there's some I didn't care for an out of box version, but I do have an out of box version of her that I have not actually taken out of the box yet. But now I want to
She's so
because she
awesome.
looks so cool. I
I'm
don't
going.
have a stand for her. They don't. The big ones don't come with a stand, so that's why I haven't taken her out yet because I don't know where to put her,
You know,
and
and
I
I
don't
need.
want her to get damaged, fall on her face.
Then that's the problem. Is yeah, I don't know what to do with her, so she's just sort of sitting on my desk right now.
She looks really cool though.
She's so awesome. I almost don't want to redo her, but that's why I bought her. So
I mean, you could buy another one like I do. Teresa's like, no.
mm, no, she's pretty cool, but I do want to. I want to redo her. So.
I have a big one of the Monster High that I bought ages ago when I collected Monster High the first time, and it's the Skelita, the Sugar Skull. She's one
Oh,
of my favorite characters, and I have a big one of her, and she also doesn't have a stand, and she's fallen a couple times right on her face, and I'm like, oh, girl, are you okay? So that's why I haven't opened this one because I don't want her to get damaged, and I will get a stand eventually, but the bigger stands are a little more expensive.
I
And
know.
now, so the Shadow and Rainbow High, the regular size, they come with stands, but Monster High does not anymore, which is upsetting because they used to, and now I have to buy aftermarket stands. She has a lot of articulation. That's way cool. So now I'm spending money on stands.
Show
Just
your
money, money, money. It's just hemorrhaging money.
not being a lady. Show your panties.
That's right, she says.
She's fantastic. I need help getting a stand. I keep telling you that. I want to get her.
I need to find you the one. I'll find it for you.
I love her. I'm gonna be redoing her. So at some point.
I've been watching all the videos of how to like restore them.
Yeah.
And it's same with the Rainbow High, the Shadow High, the Monster High. They boil their heads. They boil them with the eyelashes, the eyes in, the makeup, everything, and it doesn't damage them. And they do that to, get the head off so they can change the eyes out, which is different than reborns. It's real messed up looking. If you guys are interested, it's kind of cool, but their eyelashes are attached to their actual eyes. They have, real eyelashes there. And so when you pop the eyes out, it pops the eyelashes out. They're not affected by being popped out. They're not affected by boiling. Like I'm used to the reborns in the sense that they're kind of fragile. These dolls are not. Like you could stick them in the burning fires of hell and they come out just fine, apparently. Like they boil wash their hair, I guess, to get it back to its nice, if they're restoring a doll that like they found in a thrift store or something.
Yeah, you
That's her name, Amaya, the big Amaya. But they just put their head right in boiling water. It's just like, oh God, you okay, girl? And they come out fine, come out beautiful. So I want to get some maybe from a thrift store and try to, because when I have dolls, just like that's why I learned how to make reborns, is I wanted to know how it all works. And if I needed to fix something, I'd know how to do that. So I'm trying to work up the courage to boil a doll's head and pop it off and change the eyes or something, just so I know how to do it. But I'm a little intimidated because I don't want to ruin them. I love my dolls.
she's so great.
She is.
I TPF facing her that way. Her skirt is so tight and short.
Does she not have painted on undergarments?
I don't know. No, there's like a little yeah, but there's a little flat. I don't know. It looks weird.
It's probably inside her skirt. Some of them have that like sewn in. Yeah.
It looks inappropriate.
Yeah. He says, just turn me that way and it'll be
Oh,
fine. Part of it is because she's so big.
she's just chilling with my sewing
Good
machine.
night, Mystical Creative Reborns.
She is very cool. I am gonna redo her though. at some point. But she is pretty cool.
Anyway, to answer the question of the live, I'm not leaving dolls like reborns. I'm not selling my dolls. I love my dolls. I just probably will not be as active in reborns on YouTube especially, and probably not on Instagram. I just don't have I don't feel like I'm having fun here. And again, it's not shaded any one person or group of people. I'm not feeling it. I do really love the Monster High, especially the Monster High, the Shadow High and the Rainbow High as well, but especially the Monster High because monsters, right? As we discussed earlier, I'm a spooky bitch. So I think when Ems and I started collecting Monster High, it's got to be 5 or 6, maybe 7 years ago now. I don't know exactly, but they stopped making them. I think about a year into us collecting them, they just stopped. And it was really upsetting because we had a lot of fun buying those dolls and hunting for them. And it was just a blast, you know? And they stopped making them. And I think if they hadn't, I would have probably made this transition over to mainly collecting those type of dolls at that point. I do have 2 more reborns coming. You guys know because I've put something up on my channel about Pinhead. He is a custom order, so he's being finished. And then I have another doll that I'm very excited about that I haven't shared on my channel. So Teresa knows, don't say anything. Sam knows too. So does Ems. But after those 2 dolls, I don't plan on buying any more reborns for a good while. I really love my collection. I have a lot of fantastic dolls that I'm very happy with. I have the collection I wanted to have when I started this. And I learned a lot of things. I learned that I really don't love silicone. It's very fragile and it stresses me out. I'd rather have vinyl. So I learned that. I've learned a lot of things as I've gone through this hobby, as we all do. We figure out what we like and don't like. And I've gotten a lot of fantastic dolls that I can't imagine not having in my reborn collection. So I love them. I'm not selling them and I'm not leaving the hobby. But I just don't feel like YouTube is very fun in this community specifically for lots of reasons. I'm not having fun. I don't want to share it. Like Teresa was saying, when I think about uploading, I just I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a person that's into doing stuff. So I'm switching over the money that I'm spending and the energy and the time. I'm switching it over to Monster High, Rainbow High, Shadow High. Cuz it's fun. I'm having fun. So it's my ADHD brain. I'm going to go where the fun is. And we had so many Monster High. We did. And how fun was that? That was so much fun. We'd go out and hit like I had a little more energy back then and a little less back pain, but we'd go out and hit like 17 stores in a day, drop $300 just, and we weren't looking for anything in particular because when we first started, we didn't have any of them. So anything we found was great, So I'm having a lot of fun. And I wish I sold a lot of my Monster High. I wish I had kept them. I kept the ones I absolutely couldn't live without, and I'm so glad I did keep the few I did, but right now I'm in the process of trying to get back the ones I had. And I do want, because I'm psychotic, I want an inbox version of the ones I truly, really loved. I have a couple, more than a couple, but in the sphere of how many Monster Highs there are, for example, it's a couple. You know what I'm saying? It's probably like 100, but it's a couple when you think about all of them. I have some that I want in the box and out of the box versions of, and some that I just want. I had an out of the box version because I didn't keep a lot of them in the boxes back then. So I just want another out of the box version. So I'm spending my time, my money, my resources, whether that's physical resources like energy or, financial resources, I'm spending them elsewhere, I guess is where I'm at because I'm going where the fun is.
Yep.
I don't know if that's leaving. To me, it's not leaving, but I probably won't be around here much because it's a drag, y'all. I don't know how else to say that.
I've been struggling with that a lot lately, like over the last couple weeks, and I don't know. I'm not sure yet.
I think if I didn't have something else that I was, and you're kind of getting into it too. I think if I didn't have something else that was catching my attention and and something that I was excited about, I think I'd be quite sad, honestly. Because I put a lot of time in here and a lot of money and I have a lot of love for the dolls, for the hobby, for the journey here, for the people I've met. I have a lot of love for that. And so I think if I didn't have anything else that I was focused on, I think I'd probably be bummed.
And I think that's where I'm at. Like I like these guys, but I am sort of bummed. I am.
Well, and you are a reborn mom versus collector, so it is different for
It,
you than it is for me.
yeah, I am a reborn mom. So it is different.
I still want to share things, but I want to share them in a happy place. I think if these were real children, and believe me, if I had real children, they would be monsters. They might not look like it, but they would be. If we had real children, we wouldn't take them down to the YouTube cafe. Like I said, if this was a real place, we would not load up our real children and take them down there. We would not want our real children anywhere near that.
Yeah.
Because it's just too much.
Yeah.
It's just too much. In every direction, it's just too much.
Yeah. It is.
So it's story time. I'm going to tell you why I couldn't do the last live. I recently put a few dolls on reborns.com, which I hadn't. I think I made an account a while back so I could maybe buy something if I wanted to buy something, but I didn't end up doing it. But I had never sold on there. So I put some dolls on there, and I had you can see the profiles and whether they've bought dolls in the past. It's sort of like eBay, but it's much newer, so people don't have a lot of feedback in a lot of cases. There's 5 or 6 or 1 or 2 or whatever, and I didn't have any. So I sold one doll, went great, 5 stars. She left 5-star for me. I left 5 stars for her. It was a great transaction. She paid. I shipped the doll. It was great. Second transaction, this woman asked me for. She had no picture, no purchase history, no nothing. Which again, it's kind of a new site, so that doesn't necessarily mean anything, right? But she asked me, "Do you have any more pictures?" And I thought, well, I've uploaded like 20 pictures. I mean, I've shot this doll from every angle, and I don't Photoshop things, so I got chronic pain. Okay, like I shot those pictures so I could put this post up, and I don't have it to shoot 20, 30 more pictures for you. Like I've shot the doll well. You should be able to tell whether you want it or not. So I asked her, well, what do you mean? Is there something specific you're looking for? Like, do you want to see a close up of the toes or something? Maybe you had a bad experience in the past and you need to see that. And she said, no, I'd like more pictures. And I said, well, I'll be honest with you. I have chronic pain and it's hard for me to do this. And I feel like I've shot the doll and in all of its glory, and none of my stuff is Photoshopped. So what you see is what you get, and I was nice, but I was like, I'm not going to reshoot this doll for you. Knowing that sometimes people just want pictures so they can take those pictures and try to sell this doll they don't have. Right. So I was like, nah, those pictures I have up there are fine. Right. And this is why I'm not trying to be like a big time reborn artist, whatever, because I have very few fucks at this point. You know what I mean? I will be fair to you, but I don't really want to go out of my way because I've done what I needed to do, right? And I looked at the reborns.com website because I thought, can they take pictures off the site? They have it set up so you can't just easily steal them. And obviously, if you're tech savvy, you can get the pictures off, but they might not be as big a quality as if you sent them to someone. They might not be as high quality, whatever. So I kind of was like, suspicious. But she said, that's okay. She said, I think I'm going to buy it, whatever. And I said, okay. And then she bought the doll. And I saw the thing come through. And I always do this when I'm selling a doll because I've had situations in the past, not with dolls, but with music collecting, where someone neglected to tell me that their address that they wanted me to ship it to was different than their PayPal address. and I shipped it to the PayPal address, and it got lost for a month and a half. So now every time I sell something, I make sure I just ask them to verify their name and address, right? And if it's at this point, if it's different than PayPal, we have a problem because PayPal will not protect me unless I send it to the confirmed address that they have. So without even looking at the address she had in the PayPal transaction, I saw that she bought it. I said, great, I'll get this out for you today. Please verify your full name and shipping address. So the address she sends me is like 123 Acorn Street, Dallas. The address in PayPal is 123 Dallas, Texas, and a zip code, which is not an address. Somehow that was her confirmed address in PayPal with no street name. So I said to her, this doesn't match your PayPal address. I need you to go in and make your PayPal address, the one you want me to ship to, needs to match your PayPal address, or I am not protected. So I need you to go in and rectify that. And she said that she would. I talked to PayPal. They verified what I was saying. They said, do not ship it to any address other than the one that's here. And I said, well, I understand that is your policy, but it's looking like this isn't even a real address that you have. And I said, she's given me essentially the same thing, but with an added street name. And they said, it doesn't matter because of the way our policy is set up, you will not be protected if you ship it there. And I was like, okay. So went back to her and reiterated what they had told me. And she said, I went in and changed it. And I said, okay, great. So I called PayPal to verify that. And they said, no, it still looks exactly the same. So we went back and forth a couple times. She kept saying, I've changed it. I've gone in and changed it. And what PayPal will do if they think you're potentially getting scammed is they will word things differently to you. Like they will suggest that you offer a refund, or they will suggest certain things. And they told me repeatedly, do not ship it. And even though they can't tell me anything about her account, they can apparently tell you if the person has made any changes to their account, such as their address. So after going back and forth with this lady, PayPal's repeatedly telling me there have been no changes to this account today. So she's not trying to fix her address. And I finally said, I feel like perhaps this person is attempting to scam me, because if you're telling me that she hasn't changed anything and there's been no changes to the account at all today from her calling in, from anything on the web, from her phone, from anything like that, you're telling me nothing has changed, then she's lying. And they were like, it would appear that that's what's happening, and we have to once again advise you not to ship this doll. So I told her that, and she accused me of being a scammer. I had taken her money and now was refusing to ship this doll. And I was like, it actually feels the other way around to me, because PayPal is telling me you haven't made any changes to your account. So I'm sorry, but until you do that, and I told her, I said, have you spoken to someone at PayPal on the phone today? Because I've been on the phone all day with them. And she said, no, I've been just logging on and changing it, and apparently it's not doing it. And I said, I need you. This was late at night by this point. I said, I need you to call them. And by the way, during the course of all these conversations, she tells me that she's a teenager. Now, whether she means teenager 18, 19 years old or teenager 12, 13, I don't know. But I did say, I don't think you're supposed to have a reborns.com account if you're a teenager. And I don't think you're supposed to have a PayPal. It's my understanding that that's how that works. But I was already deep into this messed up transaction by the time she said that. And she said it in a way as like, oh, I'm just a teenager, so I don't know what I'm doing. And when I talked to PayPal, I said, that doesn't make any sense, because teenagers now are so well versed in technology. That's for a teenager to say, I don't know how to work a computer, I don't know how to update my address, doesn't even make sense. None of this makes sense, right? So PayPal told me to tell her she needs to call us. So that's what I told her. Meanwhile, this is the day she bought the doll. We've had hours of conversation. I'm back and forth with PayPal, back and forth with her in the reborns.com messaging system, back and forth with PayPal again. Finally, I just ended the night and I said, look, I have to go to bed because I'm old. So please call PayPal and talk to someone so we can get this straightened out. So what do I wake up to? She's filed a item not received claim against me. I don't even know how she did that because anytime I've had to do that, PayPal makes me wait a certain point between when I purchased it and when it could reasonably be delivered to a person. But she's woken up and filed that complaint and is now accusing me of trying to scam her, take her money, and not send her a doll. And she threatened me and was like, if you don't send it, I'm going to tell people that you're a scammer. And I'm going to tell people this. And I was like, I said, you know what? I've been here 10 years plus. You can go ahead and tell everybody whatever you want. I'm not shipping this doll. And that's that. At this point, I believe you're trying to scam me. I'm not going to ship the doll. PayPal will refund your money. And you go ahead and tell everybody whatever you want, sweetheart. Okay? Because I don't care. So that's what happened the last time I was supposed to go live in the afternoon.
So insane.
It's insane. I think she has made an attempt to run some kind of scheme, and she tried it with the wrong chica. Sam says, yeah, that's what I said. I was joking around with the lady in PayPal because she's, our age, and she's like, yeah, for a teenager to say that, she's like, first of all, that's a red flag for its own reasons, but for a teenager to say, oh, I don't know how to update my address, she's like, that's ridiculous. That's absurd, And I told her, I said, I'm the wrong one, I'm not falling for it, and you can't threaten me into it either.
Yeah, it was pretty amusing that she thought she could do that.
Yeah, and that was the last thing she said to me. I was like, you can talk to PayPal, because at that point when she filed the dispute, PayPal said I would not suggest that you speak to her anymore outside, because they have their own thread for like responses from the seller, responses from the buyer. She said, I don't think you should speak directly to her anymore. I think you should put everything inside this thread and, we'll make a decision. So they wouldn't even, at that point, because she was a suspected scammer, they wouldn't even let me refund her directly. It had to go through their process. And the girl was just pissed. And I was like, you opened a case. You didn't tell me you were doing that. I thought you were going to talk to PayPal in the morning and get your address straightened out, and I was going to ship you this doll. But I wake up to you've opened a case. Now it's out of my hands. Now, and then, oh my God, I was so pissed. So I don't sell dolls routinely. I very rarely sell dolls for my collection. I hang on to my dolls because I love them. So I very rarely sell them. I'm not the type to sell a doll, to buy a doll, to sell a doll, to buy a doll. I don't do that. I keep them. And so I don't sell a lot. And my PayPal account reflects that, right? So after this woman filed this dispute, which no one's ever filed a doll dispute against me before, and it's been years. I've had my PayPal account for years. All of a sudden, I get this email from PayPal that I need to verify what type of business I run, and I need to get them my supplier's information to prove that I'm a legitimate business and all this stuff. And I was like, I'm a doll collector. I occasionally sell dolls for my collection. Here is my YouTube so you can see that I'm not bullshitting, but I'm not a business. Like PayPal now thinks I'm Walmart or something because this woman files this dispute less than 24 hours from when she bought the doll, alleging that I didn't give her the merchandise. And I'm like, you didn't give me a valid address. So yeah, I don't know what you want from me, but it was absolutely absurd. Anyway, end of story. She got her money back from PayPal. I talked to them several times and I'm like, as far as I'm concerned, you can release the money back to her. I don't want to have a dispute. There's nothing to dispute. She won't give me a valid place to ship this. And when I asked them, I said, how is this even a confirmed address? Like 123 Dallas, Texas. And obviously that's not her address. I'm not going to dox her and give her address out, but that's not an address. You need a street. You need a street name. I said, how did she even do this? And they said, well, sometimes people can put the numbers. And then I guess this is a common scamming technique, which is further, proof that this is probably a scammer. They can put the number in and then put spaces for the street address. And apparently that works. I hope I'm not giving any scammers any information, but that's what they told me. And I'm like, I don't know how this got by y'all.
Wow.
Like, so whether or not she was indeed a scammer, I don't know. But, PayPal told me at one point, they said if we can get her to call us and update the address verbally with one of our agents and we can verify her, then maybe we can refund the transaction and try it again and maybe the address will show up properly. And I said, well, I don't want to do any business with her. Even if that works, because she's like, at this point, she's like, okay, if we give her the benefit of the doubt, maybe there's a glitch in the system that I can't see. She went and talked to tech support. Like, I was on the phone all day trying to give this person the benefit of the doubt. And she's like, I don't see a problem, but the only other thing I can think of if you want to complete this transaction is to undo it and redo it. And I said, I don't want to do that because I don't want to do business with her now because I don't trust her. So let's just give her the money back. And this was the conversation the night before. And then I said, I think I just need to refund your money. And she's like, no, let me talk to him in the morning. And that was the last I heard. And in the morning I had a dispute. And I'm like, okay, thanks she didn't even tell me. So the last thing I said to her was, I've been advised not to talk to you anymore outside of PayPal. I will be giving them my response to your dispute. Please do not try to buy a doll from me ever again. That's what I put in there. Because I said I don't want to have a repeat of this experience. I was still nice, but I was like, get the fuck away from me and don't try to buy from me anymore.
You were so stressed out with all that.
Oh my God.
And
then PayPal thinks, like I was venting to Sam and you and everybody who would listen. I'm like, so PayPal now thinks their system now thinks I'm the scammer in a way. I had to completely verify myself when I'm not even. I was just laughing when I talked to him on the phone. I said, I've given you guys my YouTube. Is that enough? Like, I'm not a business, so I can't give you what you're asking me for. I can't give you my supplier. My supplier is my doll collection. I don't really know how to, like, it was just absurd that they're telling me for a whole entire day, this woman's probably a scammer in the way that they do and telling me how to protect myself. And then I get an email about I need to show them that I'm legit. I'm like, how's this coming back on me? I'm doing exactly what you told me to do.
All I was trying to do was sell a doll.
Yeah. It was just nuts. And it's that too. It's that stuff that there's so many scams now. And I have a friend who does eBay as a business. That's what he does. And he legitimately is a business. And he runs into the same stuff. And it's not with dolls, but there are so many scams now. And I guess what they're doing is somehow, because I guess PayPal and eBay are not connected anymore, they will buy something on someone else's credit card and somehow they're getting PayPal to refund it back to the balance and then they're taking the balance out. Does that make sense? Rather than refunding it back to a card that was never theirs in the first place.
Oh.
I don't know how they're doing it, but he's run into that a couple of times and he's caught it, like I caught it, or think I caught it. But eBay's like, yeah, that's a common scam.
What?
So it's affecting everything. It's not just dolls, but it's stress. That's stressful.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, shit, do I want to just take, because I had five or six dolls up there. It's like, do I want to just take these down now? Even though I've had now multiple good experiences, it does make you think like, okay, can I even sell dolls if I need to or want to?
Yeah.
It's just gotten so volatile. It's volatile in every direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I was telling you, all of this stuff, all of the things that we now think about before we share something, before we upload something, before we share a photo, before we buy something, before we share something we bought, it's asking too much.
Yeah.
Of a person to think of all that stuff. Feeling like you can't comment somewhere because they might have done something that you're not aware of and now you're going to get blamed and you're going to get roped in with that. Or even if you don't comment, you might get roped in with. It's just too much to think about.
Really.
And it's sucked all the fun out of it.
It really does. Yeah, it really has.
I don't have that kind of energy. It's almost being in this community is almost like being a politician. You have to step so carefully that you can't even be human. And like you said, you can't even be neutral. You can't even try to.
Yeah.
It's a fucking minefield.
Yeah.
I
Really.
don't I don't want to live in that.
Yeah. Never didn't used to be that way.
And you have a very stressful job. Like a lot of people, I would imagine, some of the people I talk to have very stressful jobs, and this is their fun.
Yeah.
So no one wants to go, this is not fun.
No, it makes me sad that I don't have that fun thing anymore. It's made me very sad for a little bit now because yeah, that was my thing. I have a very stressful job. It's very physical, it's very mental, and that was my getaway. And now I don't feel like I have that anymore. And if I do, I got to really sit down and write a script and figure out and make
Yeah.
sure I'm not showing something wrong and saying something wrong, and it's but that's not fun. It's not fun.
Thank you, Shell. I appreciate that. She said, I enjoyed this chat tonight.
I'm glad.
I got nothing but love for this hobby. And
Yeah.
really, even if I've had falling out with people, and of course I have over this much time, I mean, I even have love for those people. I can see their points of view. I can see all of it. I can stand in all of these people's shoes from all these different directions and see it's difficult and I don't have answers. So I kind of just feel like, and I also don't want to. I've done okay, I think, at this point in remaining somewhat neutral, but it's work. You have to be very, very, very careful. Even now, I want to make sure I don't say anything that's going to be taken some kind of way and upset someone, because that's not what I'm here for. I
Right.
don't want to do that to anyone, whether I like you or don't like you or you don't like me. I'm not here for that. But it's so much mental energy to
Yes.
make sure that you don't misstep and now someone's pissed and you didn't intend that. It's mental energy I don't want to have to spend. I just don't.
Oh, and also takes the fun out of it
It does.
because you have to really think about it and you can't just have fun with it.
I always make the joke because I've been on the other side of this, and it was years ago, but I always make the joke that I don't want people to come to my channel and get diarrhea.
Mm.
That stress of like what is going to be posted, or because I've been through that and that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
So I try not to, and I'm not perfect. I've thrown a little shade here and there, but
Mm-hmm. I try to make it fun, but I honestly, it's getting harder and harder these days to make fun content when your heart's just not in it.
yeah.
Very hard. That's where I'm at right now.
Like that's all I got.
So it really it's been very I've struggled the last several videos. I'm struggling because it's just not. I'm not having fun anymore.
Well, and I always have hope. I think the reason I don't ever say, and I'm not saying now, I'm leaving the reborn community or I'm leaving the community on YouTube or I'm going to shut my channel down or I'm done, I don't say that because I think I really do always hope that it will get better.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it being better. I remember there's always been, some drama, some arguments, but it's very volatile and I don't I hope that it'll get better, but I've been hanging on, sort of waiting for that. And that's why M's left, you know, because it was just not fun. So
Yeah.
she was like, "Peace out," and I've been hanging on, seeing if things would get better and
Yeah.
trying to do better myself. Like I said, I'm not always successful. I'm not perfect. I fuck up, but trying to do better, trying to navigate this from a different perspective, because
Mm.
the community is like a living thing. It's changed over the years, and so you kind of have to figure out where you fit in that.
Yeah.
And I think right now I don't feel like I fit. I feel like I fit better in the other type of doll community right now because I'm just, and I also don't, another part of this, which has nothing to do with anyone else but me, is that I don't have the energy physically or the lack of pain in my body. And I know a lot of people can identify with this to make content on a very consistent basis across multiple platforms, especially. That's a lot. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of dedication. And you almost kind of have to do that if you want to keep your channel alive. I always joke that mine's like a zombie channel because it comes back to life every once in a while. I'll be like, I'm feeling good this week. I got the steroids, and all my joint pain is like shut down, so I'm doing good. And then I'll do 6, 7 videos and then be gone for 3 months.
Right.
So the algorithm's just like, are you kidding me? No, we break up, So I don't even. It doesn't even really matter what I do anymore because my channel's dead as far as YouTube's concerned, and
Yeah.
I don't have the physical energy or the desire at this point. It's all of it mixed together. I don't have it to, you know, bring my channel up out of the dirt. I don't have it. I think if there wasn't so much stress and so much heaviness in the community, maybe I could find it.
Yeah.
But
Pretty heavy.
it is.
Yeah.
And I can't see myself making that kind of content. And I don't want to because who's watching it if the algorithm isn't pushing my channel out there?
Mm-hmm.
People that don't care for me. So
Yeah.
I don't want to share my dolls with you if you don't like me. I'm sorry, I don't. You know?
Yeah.
And I don't want to it within those videos. I also am not trying to piss people off, so it's like you have to be so careful. There's no point to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's where I'm at.
I wish it was different.
I
But
do. I miss the way it used to be. I know a lot of us say that. We've been around here. If you've been around for a while, I think we all have said that.
I know, and I feel like new people are like, "Well, why don't you fix it then?" It's like
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Hey.
It's too far gone.
Hey. Yeah. Like, yeah, like when I said earlier, like I remember we used to get mad because we'd get so hooked on somebody's baby that they showed that we'd get mad if they would, tell the baby, or we'd be like, "What? Oh my gosh, no!" And I remember those days where I don't know, it was so much fun though. Like everybody had
Yeah,
abilities, and they became regulars, and like Caleb, everybody who's been around for a while knows Caleb, and he's like a little celebrity.
yeah,
That was back in the day when it was about them.
yeah.
So the newer ones are like, who?
Well, and I'm in such a like because I collect predominantly monsters. Yes, I have some of the traditional human-looking ones, and I love them. I think they're great. But my predominant interest is in the monster horror side of things, and I think a lot of people, one, are not really interested in that, not enough to follow my channel religiously
Right.
because they collect and like the human style reborns. And I just think they're not. If I were to only make the traditional human style reborn content, right? That type of role play, that type of this is how you make a bottle, this is how you modify a pacifier. All of that's been done and done and done and done so many times. It's like I don't know what I could contribute to that at this point. And I've already made those videos. 10 years ago I made those videos.
Yeah, yeah,
I am not personally interested in that content, and that's again not shade. It's not my interest. My interest is more towards the horror and the monsters and the weird shit, right?
yeah,
So, if your content isn't somewhat on the spectrum of creepy, weird shit, I'm just not interested. And you're probably not interested in whatever I'm bringing to the table. So I think there used to be more interest in the fantasy monster style reborns. And I think now it's kind of waned a little bit, or at least it seems that way on YouTube. So anything I'm going to put out of like my baby zombies fighting and grunting at each other like I used to do a lot of role play and
Yeah.
I'd add in sound effects and all this stuff. And I
Yeah.
think there's just not a lot of interest. And that's okay. But I don't want to just make human style reborn content.
Yeah.
You know, everybody let's change a doll and everybody let's make some milk and it's just I'm not interested in that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. That too.
Let's take our baby to Target. I've done it.
Yeah.
I want to take my monster to Target
Hell,
and freak people out.
hell yeah.
I think my vibe is just quite different and I don't know. That's part of it for me too.
Yeah.
And you've said that you want to get into more of the fantasy as far as making dolls.
And yeah, that's, it's probably something I'll talk about because that is where my channel is going. At least that's kind of somewhere where it's going to be going that direction. So,
I hope I didn't spill any tea. I'm sorry.
no, I mean, it's, I'm working on the clown right now. It's not going to be a regular clown. It's, I have a lot more coming. So, you know, get ready.
Hold on to your butts.
Right. That's where I'm going because I've done several regular human babies and it was fine and it was fun and now I'm over it. you know.
Near and Far Reborn Doll says, "You've always said that you make content for yourself. I hope you continue to do this." I love that. I wish I was motivated to do that. I think right now I'm not, and not in this hobby, not in this particular part of dolls. I'm not. I don't got it. But maybe it'll come back. I mean, that's why I don't ever say I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just looking over there. You know, my focus is somewhere else at the moment, and so if I'm not around as much as maybe I have been in the past, that's why. Nobody died.
Yeah.
I just this isn't where my interest is and is not where I'm going to be spending my money, my time, my energy, whatever. And I don't know that anyone here on this channel really wants to hear about. I've shared a little bit, but I don't think a lot of people want to hear about the fashion dolls. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know
I
if I'm
think
not.
there's
But
I think a lot of people in the reborn community are getting into them.
they're neat. It's
They
like that
are
kid
really.
said.
Yeah.
They're cool.
I
I have to be honest, because of the Monster High, because of loving the Monster High so much, I've been looking at the Shadow and the Rainbow High. I guess it'd be the Rainbow High mainly because they were out first. I've been looking at them in Target. I'd be going past the aisle and just thinking, man, I really think those are cool, you know? But then I think, oh my God, the amount of money.
yeah. I have to say, if you wouldn't have gotten me the first one, I would have never bought one because they really did not think they were this big, and I didn't think it was probably something that I would like. But I have to say, I'm hooked. They are awfully cool.
Yeah, I see. I knew because I have a collector's mentality, so I'd be dangerous with that. You know what I mean? Because I got to have everything in the box, out the box, every variation. Oh, this one has a little bit less thick eyeliner. I got to have that one. You know, I get ridiculous with it, so I got to watch myself. And I'd be looking at those rainbow highs and thinking those look really cool, but I better not buy one because if I buy one, it's all over. Then I got Target at home, you
Right.
know, and I do. Like I've shown you some of the pictures of all the
Yeah.
box Rainbow and Shadow High, and
Oh my God.
I was telling her my friend Kyle the other day. He's like, "Hey, you want to go to Target and you like those dolls? We should see if they have any new ones out." He has no idea, right? And I said, "No, man, I got Target at home." Like, come in here and look. I'm like, I have them all. Like, I have them all over this 3-month period. I've gotten them all, and that includes inbox and out of box of the $100+ special editions. I've
Yeah.
got them all. And he was like, "Wow." He's like, "You really do have Target at home."
Yeah.
So I got to be careful. and I don't have infinite finances. I wish I did if you're listening, universe, but I can't do a bunch of hobbies at the same time to their full extent. So, that's another reason that I'm choosing not to buy any more reborns. I will probably buy if a really fantastic kit comes out, I will probably buy that and save it for later, but I'm not going to be watching what reborns for sale and all that stuff because it's just not where I want to spend my money right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if I had infinite money, maybe that would be different, but maybe it wouldn't, you know? All I know is I'm having a lot of fun, and that's where my focus is right now.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
If you could change one thing about the reborn community on YouTube, what would it be?
Me?
Yeah.
Um, oh my gosh. There's so much. I don't. How do you pick just one? Um,
You're like, well, this one ties into that one and
I,
ties into that one.
I'm like, yeah. Um, there's so much. I can't even pick one that like outweighs the other. Like, I mean, I think telling people that they have ugly dolls, like being like incredibly judgmental. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like somebody that's got, you know, not a $3,000 doll.
Oh, can I tell you a story?
Tell me.
When I first, it takes a minute to learn the rules of the community that you're in or the job that you've gone to or whatever the culture is that you're in, right? It takes you a minute. And I happened to say when I first, it was probably a year. I was probably in the community for a year. And just to be, for the record, I've changed my mind about this artist's work since then. But at the time, I didn't particularly care for a particular artist's sculpts. I didn't like Tina Cui. Now there's some Tina Cui sculpts I've had that I love, right? But man, she has some dedicated ass fans. And I said that shit, and people were pissed. You don't like Tina Cui. I have a Tina Cui. Does that mean you don't like my baby? And I was like, whoa, no. But I like that's one of those things where I said the wrong thing, and I was very quickly put in my place.
You know, that's what happened when I said I didn't like Saskia when it first came out.
Yeah,
Everybody
I
was
was kind of iffy too. I didn't like Lulu at all by Jen Printing, and now my ride or die, one of my babies is a Lulu, and I just adore her. She's a zombie, but
like, yeah, it's cute. Like, you know, but at first I was like, absolutely not. That is ugly baby. And oh my gosh, everybody was like, oh yeah, I like Saskia. Well, I just got one. Blah, blah. Woo, okay, it's just my no.
I did notice that in the Rainbow Shadow High Monster High communities, they would say they'll rank some of their favorites. These are my top 10 favorites of whatever. And they'll always say if one of these dolls, or like they'll say these are the ones I hate, I dislike the most, or I'm not as much of a fan of, or whatever. And they'll say if one of these is your favorite, or your favorite's not included in my favorites, that's not shade. They're all awesome. These are just the ones that I particularly really like, or whatever. And so they're very, very careful. It's mad respectful, and I love that.
Yes. I have to say, the videos that you've put my way and I watch them, it is very different. Very different. It is very respectful. It's a lot of fun to watch them. Like they're very entertaining, and you're just like, wow, that was fun. That was fun to watch. Like that, like the last one that
Yeah.
your wall. It was just I was like, what a cool video. Like he was cool guy. I subscribed right away. Like I wasn't even halfway through, and I was like, subscribe. Like,
I love that kid. He's
yeah.
smart too for his age. My God.
And the other girl that you watch, I always forget. I haven't learned their
Is that
name.
Melissa? The
I
My World.
I the kind of the older one that's kind of funny.
She is so funny.
Yeah. And she even has that other channel too, and I love her. She's great.
Yeah, she's
Like,
fantastic.
very refreshing. I feel like it was like back when I first got into the reborn community. Like, that's how I feel when I watch those videos from those people. Like, they're just excited, and it's cool to see that. And you know, I miss that. I miss that excited. Like, you get done watching it, you're like, cool, I want to see another one.
Yeah.
And I miss that in the community. I do.
I think the one thing that I would change, and this is really not exclusive to the community, but it's humanity in general. And like I said, this is all this stuff. I am a flawed ass motherfucker. Okay. So I'm not preaching and I'm not saying that I don't also struggle with this stuff. Sometimes I do. Um, I would say a little bit more grace, a little more slack, a little bit. There's a lot of feelings involved and there's conflicts that have happened. And I think it causes people to be very reactive. And I'm guilty of that as well. And you start to assume things that, again, maybe are completely wrong. But once you've got an idea in your head that you don't like someone or they don't like you or it's mutual, whatever, it becomes hard to just see them as another human in the world with their own shit going on. And I think that's hard, but I think we need more of that. Just understanding that we're all trying to make our own situations work and we've got our own stuff going on, and I think that would benefit us, you know.
I agree completely.
Sam says sometimes you just have to hit the pause button. Yeah. I think that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm hitting the pause button.
Well, and I've talked about it several times recently about just I am on a break, and maybe I didn't announce it, and I go back and forth, but that's kind of where I am right now. Like, cuz I just it's not fun anymore. I'm not having fun anymore.
Yeah.
And I need to step back and think about, things.
Whoever's here that's not talking, you're welcome to talk. Anyone's welcome to talk. Um, really, just so everybody knows. Um, I've seen people. There's people that have been around a long time. Some people longer than me, and I've seen a lot of them go through their own stuff and them change and grow as people. And I think that's sort of why I'm at the place that I'm at, is because I've seen it, you know, and I've grown a lot. So I think we just have to be careful and make sure that we allow people to grow. And like I said, with social media in general, you make one mistake and you're that mistake forever. And that's very unfair. And it doesn't allow a person, there's not incentive for a person to be better or to grow or to do better if you're judging them for something they did 5, 10 years ago, or in some cases, even last week. Maybe they have struggled with that. You know, you don't know. And we need to give people that space to grow. And sometimes people don't change. That's on them. You know, they don't try to better themselves. That's on them. But I've seen a lot of evidence of people doing it and trying to be better. So we need to keep that in mind, maybe. But we got conflicts in this community that are older than God. You know what I'm saying? Go on forever.
Right.
It's like, aren't you tired of hating each other yet? Damn.
And oh my gosh.
Have a beer and punch each other in the face and go see a movie. You know? Like, I don't want to carry that around. I'd be real mad sometimes and I'd be doing some stupid shit sometimes when I'm real mad, but then I calm down and I'm like, it wasn't, it didn't need to be all that.
It's like extra grudge holding.
It is.
I don't even hold grudges like that.
Sam says sometimes we get real life stuff that knocks some sense into us too. Yeah. Nobody got nothing to say. I see you watching.
Come on, everybody. Oh no, it's haters.
That's okay. Say something. We're all in this community. You know, we all have a perspective. So
Right.
I really am down to hear that.
Yeah,
Because like I said, even if we've had a falling out or whatever, I still can see, I see the logic. I see why people have the reactions to things that they do. I see why there's misunderstandings. I sometimes see both sides of it, and it's like, yeah, that looks this way from your side and it looks that way from that side. I get it because I've had enough experiences here. I've been on both sides of things that I can see that. And it's hard because sometimes you want to say something, but you don't know what to say. So I just don't say nothing anymore. I used to be real mouthy, remember?
I do.
I used to be all about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I struggle not to. Those
Chelsea, I'm
tips.
just not feeling very well. I'm sorry. I hope that you feel better. I understand. I get it.
Sorry, I keep muting. The everybody's flying for some reason. All the planes are going off. It's like, hey, people, I'm trying to do a live here. Like, quit flying places.
And I also another reason I probably won't be as active is I have some big things, big changes going on in my life. I will be moving out of Texas. No, I will not be saying where. Um, but I'm going to be busy, and so that's going to be some of it too. Sam said, "You are very fair-minded when you're not mad, mad. LOL. Even to those you mostly don't agree with." When I'm not in Hades mode, yeah, she's right. I'd be real unreasonable for a hot second.
Yeah,
Woo!
I
Yeah.
agree. I second that.
Huh?
I second that.
Yeah. I think I've always joked with you about this where like you got some anger that it's like a slow boil, you know? It just sit on that stove. And it's woo, it's hot, you know, and 2 months later, woo, it's hot. Mine is like whoosh, and then it's gone.
Yeah,
It's ashes, you know.
yeah. I do boil up.
And I have to be careful and I fuck up. Even now at this age, I have to be careful not to do impulsive things when I'm in that Hades mindset. And I'm better at it, but I'm damn sure not perfect. I'm not. Sam, well, a couple people know that probably aren't saying anything. I've lost my shit, you know. I try not to, but I'm working on it. That's all I can say. Which is why I'm like, I think that's why I'm not a huge grudge holder because I be fucking up, and I'm like, okay, if I be doing that, then I can't hold someone to a standard I can't reach. You know, I can't. It's not fair. If you piss Lexi off, duck, run for cover, and wait it out. That's true. Those are true facts. Everybody's different. I mean, and like I've told you, Teresa, it's sometimes I will forgive people too easily because I don't want to be mad because I don't want to have that conflict because it's heavy, you know? It's heavy to carry that and I don't want to carry it. And so sometimes it gets me in trouble that I am so, willing to forgive or whatever. It's a lovely quality. Um so there's good and bad to I think both sides of that, but I have a hot minute like Sam is joking about. There's a hot minute there where, you know, I'm a volatile person and I used to be so much worse, so I give myself some credit there, but I'm not done working on it, you know? So people be like, I have mad respect for you. And I'm like, well, I'm not trying to sell a story that ain't true, okay? I'm not. I'm okay with my messed up stuff though, because I'm working on it, and I'm trying. That's all I can do.
That's right.
Dottie said her internet went out for a minute. Mine did that this morning, weirdly. Sam says you can be extremely passionate. It's a very nice way of putting it. Yeah, that is true. Anyway, this year is kind of got a lot going on, a lot of changes, a lot of things that are probably going to take my time, and so I won't be around as much, but like I said, I'm not dead. God willing. Knock on some wood somewhere. Um and I may still watch some things, but I think I do need some distance from it because it's a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, and even if I understand where it's coming from, it's hard to like. I don't want to immerse myself in that pool anymore. I'd much rather watch a dude talk about how he thinks his dolls are neat. That's where I'm at.
Through that. Yeah. Through that. That's kind of where I'm heading.
So how long are we going now? Almost 2 hours. Should we push 4 more minutes, 3 more minutes so we can hit 2 hours? Do you have things to say? I feel like I've just been sitting here talking and talking and talking. It's my thing.
No, I mean, I've chimed in. I'm kind of, I don't know where I'm at right now. I don't know if I'm staying or I'm going. I don't know. It's on my mind a lot the last couple weeks, and I'm just not sure.
Well, at least I know that, we'll be around to annoy each other privately off YouTube.
Yeah.
Right? So it doesn't really matter if I'm here or not because I'm going to be around for my friends, but
That's right. Yeah, I mean, I definitely love the Shadow High, and I may put them on my channel, I may not. I'm not sure yet, but I really do like them, and I have a bunch I'm wanting to get.
I think you thought I was nuts initially because you're like, I'm like, oh my God, this and oh my God, that. And I'm sending her pictures and I'm showing her. I'm like, they're so cool and this and she's like, yeah, it's cool, man. It's cool. And so finally I was like, I'm sending her one. And then you're like, these are cool. I'm like, I know.
Oh no, really? No, it's okay. Yeah. You're gonna love this.
Yeah, I could hear it. You were just like, yeah, it's cool.
Uh-huh.
It's cool, man.
I thought they were gonna be like Barbie size, and that's not really my thing. But they are definitely, I really like their size a lot.
Yeah, it's more like a BJD.
And that's I have been wanting one. I've been wanting like one of the.
What happened? I lost her. Give her a second, see if she comes back. Aw, Sam says, I'd like to put it out there that you are also a great friend. Thank you. Right back at you. I've met so many people that mean a lot to me in this community. So I'm very thankful for that. I will always be very thankful for that. You still hear Ems? She probably fell asleep. There's Teresa. Oh, I have to add you back. Are you here?
Yeah, that was, I don't know.
You left me.
I got kicked out.
Oh.
It was like, we're done hearing from you.
You've said all you need to say. Thanks.
That's right. No, I've been wanting one of the really expensive like BJDs, and I knew that was going to take me a while to do. And then it's like, then I started thinking the clothes are so expensive, and
yes,
but I feel like the Shadow High, Rainbow High, I feel like they're you know, it scratches that itch that I was having for the BJD.
Right. Same. Yeah. Because I looked at him. He's called Mad Rabbit. He's really cool. I haven't shown him on my channel. I do have one BJD, and he's really awesome. He
So
looks
cool.
like the White Rabbit. He's fantastic,
So
and also creepy looking. Because
mm.
got to be a little creepy. But I looked into the BJDs, and they're so cool, but the clothes are so insanely expensive that I was like, oh man, I don't know if I want to even dip my toe into that, because there goes all my money for real. I mean, at least with the reborns, you can buy like baby clothes.
Yeah.
You don't have to spend a ton of money if you don't want to. It's easily accessible. You can just go out and grab something. Those BJD clothes,
Whew.
they're amazing, but I can't make that. Like, my sewing skills are built zero, nothing, minus a million. Just, I'm not going to be able to do that. So it would cost me so much money to get things the way I want. Did someone just send me money? I don't know how that works. Is that what you did, MJ?
Did you
Thank
get a super
you.
chat?
I've never gotten one before.
Aww.
I appreciate that. That's nice.
Woohoo.
Hello. I think for a while too, I felt like I collect reborns, and those are the dolls that I collect. And like I said, I was into Monster High for a little bit, but I was still predominantly a reborn collector. And now I've sort of accepted that I can have lots of different dolls, and I don't have to just stay in one part of doll collecting. And maybe that's just my own mental weirdness, but like, my focus had been on reborns for so long, and now I'm kind of all over the place. And it's fun. I'm going to have to get a different house with much more space, but it's fun.
That is definitely true. You've been doing good organizing them, though.
Yeah, every time Teresa's like, this can be it. She's out of space. She's going to have to face it. And I figure it out.
And then they get pictures, and I'm like, wow, you managed to do it.
What I've done this time, though, is I rearranged. I've been doing this the last like week. I've been working on it. Oh, thank you. I've rearranged my whole doll area. So I have 3 shelves, like long, big bookshelves, so many shelves. I think there's 4 or 5 shelves on each, and they're tall. And I've made many shelves that are at this moment empty, so I can buy more Monster High. That is my plan. Because right now I'm caught up on Rainbow Shadow High. I've got everything. And so I'm concentrating on Monster High, and I've made the space for the dolls that are coming in, which is not something I've ever done before. I've had to find the space. Now I've made the space because I know I'm about to go nuts. So there's a big blank area in my doll room, which is weird. But I'm like, it's okay, because there's going to be stuff on it as I collect more of the Monster High that I want. And Andy comes in there, he's just shaking his head like, oh God. New and old, MJ. So, okay. I've been talking to Teresa's ear about this, but I'm a huge fan of the old Monster High, the G1, because that's what I had before, and they just have this very they're like edgier, they have this really sort of high-end look about them. The newer ones very much look like toys. And at first I was kind of butthurt about it. And I was like, oh, they really changed it. And I watched a bunch of videos. My World is actually the name of her channel. You might be familiar with her. She's really cool. Yeah, Draculaura. I'm a Frankie fan. Frankie's my favorite. But I do have something to say about the new Draculaura. I don't know if you've seen her, but I wasn't really a fan of the new ones. But Melissa on the My World channel, she, yes, Laguna. See, she knows what I'm talking about. I wasn't really a fan of the new ones, but she said they invited all the influencers to, I guess it's Mattel. Mattel makes Monster High. They had invited them all to this conference, and they actually explained why they made the changes that they made, why the dolls look the way they do. And so at this point, they've sort of got the regular dolls that are showing up in like Target, Walmart, that are for the kids, because the kids wanted more pastel. They wanted more. It's a different vibe, right? The more high-end looking ones they're still running a collector's line for adults, sort of in the background. So like they made what they're calling, they have these puns, all these puns for their lines, but they're called Boo Original Cree Productions, and they're reproductions of the original G1 Monster High. So I bought one of Frankie because Frankie's my favorite character. They took the bolts out of her neck. I was butthurt about that for weeks. You can ask Teresa. I was like, the bolts. I was so upset. But what I do like that they changed is that Draculaura is shorter and she's kind of like hippier. You know, she looks much more like the character in the original cartoon because she was a short girl. And the original OG Monster High, they all pretty much had the same body type. And this time she's got they're like little bat ears. They're super cute sticking out of her hair. And she's shorter. And, you know, all humans are not the same size. So it makes sense that all dolls wouldn't be the same size. And I just love that they gave her a more accurate stature to her character because she was a feisty little vampire. And so now she's this short little doll. And she's super cute. So I don't hate all the changes, but I was butthurt for a hot minute until you said to hear all of that.
Yes.
Have you seen them, MJ? What do you think? What is your opinion? Because I'm collecting them all. I'm trying to get the old ones because I sold a lot of mine, so I'm trying to get those back. Getting some of the ones, like I said, in the box because I took all of mine out of the box the first go round, and I wish I hadn't. But I want to do in the box of some of them because I want a replacement if something happens. Because I'm that attached. Like I love them that much, and I felt very relieved when I had like the reproduction Frankie because I have one if something happens to her. But I'm collecting it all now. I'm spending a lot of money and having a lot of fun. I like Draculaura, Noah and Laguna. Yeah, they did. Frankie's kind of I'm not sure what happened. They took her bolts away and her neck's kind of short now. I found if you like tip her head up, it's better. But yeah, that's one of the things people are talking about. And I don't like that they made this character Laguna Blue, who's like a sea monster type of character. They made her pink, even though her name's Laguna Blue, and she looks much better, I think, in her bluish green OG version. But yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell that they've made some changes that are more kid friendly, which is a bummer. But I will definitely be collecting the other lines that are more like the collector style ones that are more geared towards older collectors that I don't necessarily need all the pastel. Like what I love about OG Frankie is she looks like she's right out of an old horror movie. She just has this classic look about her. And I really love that. And I don't hate new Frankie. I did for a minute. I wasn't going to buy one. She's cute. But I'll always be a fan of the OG ones because they just look they look more severe and more drastic and more. And I'm thinking about those. They have the black and white versions. Those are the ones I showed you, Teresa. Remember the other night? I think they're called Real Drama.
Yes, I
Black
love
and
those.
white. I love those.
Love
So I'm
those.
probably going to get those as well. But I'm excited. I'm excited they're still making it because still being able to make them for kids in these newer like more kid friendly versions means they're still around to make new versions of the maybe adult. I say adult, I mean just more refined looking, you know. And I'm so pissed at myself. Wonder if Ems is still here. I bought her. She's a huge fan of Stephen King and The Shining, so I bought her the Grady twins from The Shining that Monster High did, and I bought myself the Pennywise, and I paid like 150 for each one, right? For whatever reason, I could kill myself. I sold the Pennywise. I sold my Pennywise. And now they're worth like 800 bucks. And if I want to replace that and rectify that stupid decision I made, it's going to cost me a lot. So, I'm butthurt. The movie. Oh yeah. The characters, they did a live action movie and the characters all look like they're 30 something to me. I don't think I haven't seen it, but I've seen like the trailer. I'm not a fan, but That's okay. I'm not a hater either. Just yeah, the Pennywise. I loved it. I loved it, but I just thought, okay, I have so much like stuff. Am I really going to get back into collecting Monster High? And at that time, I didn't think I would because I thought the collectors were kind of a one off and they weren't really doing much anymore. So I sold it. And now I'm upset. I have regret. But I want, have you seen the Gremlin? Greta Gremlin from, I guess it's supposed to be Gremlins 2. I love her. She's got big old gremlin ears. She looks like Stripe. So cool. Yeah, it was dumb. What was I thinking? I'm such a Pennywise fan. What's wrong with me?
I can't believe you did that either.
I can't. She was inbox perfect. I think because she was sitting in her box, and I wasn't sure if I was going to take her out, and I wasn't sure, and I was just, and I was like, well, maybe I should, pass her on to someone else who would enjoy her and not just have her sitting in the box. And I occasionally think, oh, she's there. I have her. I didn't want to have something just to have it because I did that with music collecting, and I'd spend like hundreds of dollars on CDs that have one song that's not even a version of the song that I like, doesn't have any artwork. It's just it was a promotional item, so I had to have it, and I'd spend hundreds of dollars of it and on it and stick it in a drawer. And I didn't want to collect that way anymore. I want to be very intentional. I want to spend my money on things that I love. So even with Monster High, I won't be buying all of the dolls. I'm not interested in being a completist collector because one, there's way too many, and two, there's a lot that I don't really care for. I don't care for that version of Dracula or whatever. So I've sort of freed myself from that idea that I have to have it all in order to be actually into something because you don't. And I think Reborns helped break that in me because I was that way with music. And then I came right to Reborns and I thought, I'm only going to buy what I like and what's cute. I'm not going to worry about what's limited edition. I'm not going to worry about, like I said, one of my favorite ride or die Reborns is Zimone, who is a bountiful baby, Jen Printy, Lulu, $30 for the kit, and I love her. But it's not because she's limited edition. It's not because she was particularly expensive. It's just because I love her. So I think Reborn sort of broke me of that, thankfully, because it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money when you got to have it all. And with Reborns, you just can't. I mean, it's absurd.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Did you ever collect stuff, Teresa? I used to collect Disney, and I went to Disney World, and I was talking to this guy, and he's like showing me these pins, like lapel pins,
Oh yeah.
and he was explaining how, oh, there's a different set every year, and they're only at the parks, and each individual parks have their own individual set, and it blew my little like 10-year-old mind, and I was like, I can't collect Disney because I will never have it all. I will never. It's impossible. So that just turned me right off Disney collecting, and because I at some point I thought, well, I want to have everything because I loved it that much, and that's impossible. It's
Yeah,
impossible.
I've always collected Betty Boop, but I used to be really, really big into it. Had everything Betty Boop. If anybody gave me like lip lipstick or lip gloss or candy, I didn't use it. Stayed in the package. And I had a curio cabinet and it was all Betty Boop stuff. I have some of it still packed away. That it was mainly like things that people had given me that I really, really love still. But yeah, I used to have flip flops that had Betty Boop on them and a bunch of shirts that had Betty Boop. And I had her on my wall and I had her in my car. And yeah, I was a huge collector.
That's so cute.
Yeah. I have her tattooed on my leg.
Have you ever thought about doing like a Betty Boop reborn, or
I think it's
you
been,
could also
I
you
have
could redo a Shadow High as well if you're going to start doing that.
a what?
You could redo a Rainbow Shadow High, like make it a Betty Boop.
Uh, that's a good idea. I
Hi, Jan.
I think the Betty Boop Reborn's been done, but it is on my list of things I wanted to make.
I mean, you make your own, make it your own way.
I had one that sort of looked like her, and I did do her hair a couple times that made her look like Betty Boop. But yeah, I've thought about it. Yeah, I'm still a big fan, but I just don't collect her. Like I had salt and pepper shakers and yeah, like everything. I had a pizza cutter that had Betty Boop on it. That's what everybody got me that for Christmas, birthday. Like I always was getting Betty Boop stuff. And if it had a little tin or it came in a little tin, I kept that too. Like watches. Yeah, I had a whole bunch of stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's fun, but it's for me it gets addicting and I have to kind of monitor myself a little bit cuz I will go nuts. I still have that completist mindset to a degree and
Yeah. That's how I am with the nursery stuff, with the John Lennon nursery stuff. I have to slow my roll.
Sam said I love Betty Boop. My keychain is Betty and that was one of Margie's first pair of earrings.
Aw. Yeah, I've got earrings and watches, and I used to have a cigarette case that had Betty Boop on it. I have a pin that if you flip it one way, she's got a dress on. You flip it the other, she has a bikini.
I love those pens. Those are so fun.
Yeah, it's like a black dress, and then you flip it the other way, and she's in a bikini, like a polka dotted bikini or something like that. Marble. Someone gave me the marble with Betty Boop on it. Yeah, I have all that stuff. So a lot of it's packed away, but yeah, it's always been my thing. A lot of people know that. See, now everybody knows.
Your secret's out.
My secret's out.
The tea is spilled. All right, I think that I'm probably going to go clean lizard cages and get on with my night, but I appreciate everyone who showed up and whether you talked or didn't talk, I wish you the best. I hope your 2023 is awesome and so fun. I think mine's going to be awesome and so fun. I'm excited. So, yeah.
Aww.
I love you guys.
We love you.
Good night, everyone. Thank you so much.
Good night.